This episode of TRS is brought to you by The Ben Heck Show, Building, Modding, and Electronics, brought to you exclusively by Element 14. On today's TRS, he struck gold with The Shield, the best show ever. Does Shawn Ryan do it again with the Chicago Code?
Hello everybody and welcome to the Totally Rad Show. For the week starting February 21st, we've got a big week. Today we are going to be talking about the new TV show from Shawn Ryan, of course the creator of The Shield.
Best show ever!
Maybe the second best show ever? The Chicago Code.
Yeah, because there's a new episode tonight.
Tonight.
And then Tuesday, we got a radar. We got What's on Our Radar. And that is going to include my hands-on impressions of the first 3 levels of Homefront.
Which
very
is
exciting.
one of Dan's most anticipated games of last year's E3, right?
That's correct. On Wednesday, we visited the world of Unknown. If by that I mean we went to a movie called Unknown, and we're gonna chat about it.
Cool. Thursday, we're back for comics. We're going to talk about the new comic. It's new, right? But in a trade form?
New trade, yeah.
The new trade, Day Tripper.
Yes.
Which will be very interesting.
And then Friday, we wrap things up with a tagline takedown.
If you want to get your background sent in.
Like Seth did. Seth Hatlin, he's submitted a background before just recently, and then he rocked this badass piece of art.
Correctamundo.
Look at how awesome we look.
Amazing.
Yeah. It's really cool. Please send your background to fans@totallyradshow.com.
That's right. All right, people, let's get into it. Chicago style. Deep dish. So we're back today in television with the new show from the Shield creator, Shawn Ryan, The Chicago Code. It's a new Fox drama. It's actually coming out tonight. Is the 3rd episode. I think it's at like 8 or 9, something like that, on Fox Monday nights. It follows the course of a few detectives as well as the sort of new superintendent of police, played by Jessica Biels. I always say that. Jennifer Beals from way back school, who plays the first female and the youngest superintendent of police in Chicago.
I think she followed Superintendent Chalmers, if I'm not mistaken.
She did, which would have been amazing. So the TV show stars Jason Clarke, Jennifer Beals, and Delroy Lindo, and is all about the sort of inner workings of dirty politics in Chicago, as it were. Now, Jeffrey.
Not me.
Not you. You, obviously, huge fan of Shawn Ryan's work.
Well, I'm a huge fan of The Shield. As I've said many times on the show, I think it's the best television show of all time.
Correct.
So it was with much anticipation that I jumped into The Chicago Code. I also was a fan of Terriers, which he had, I think, a smaller hand in creating. He was more of a producer, not a writer, really, of
Correct.
that. But he is a writer on this. I believe he wrote the pilot. And it definitely feels like The Shield 2.0.
Okay.
In the same way that, spoiler for the pilot of both of these, but in the same way that a death sparks things in The Shield, a death spark kind of is where the jumping off point of the whole series is here as well. So that's kind of a trope I think he relies on again. I did not love the pilot. I was worried when I saw the pilot because I felt like the show didn't really click. It moves at a very fast pace. The characters are all kind of shoved at you in a very quickly, and I didn't find anybody to latch onto. It's sort of a Vic Mackey if Vic Mackey was like super straight and narrow, like, you know, he's got shades of gray, this guy.
I mean, Jason Clarke, the main
Detective, yeah.
But he's very much a good guy, to the point where he wasn't even allowed cursing, you know? But then right at the end of that pilot, really great thing happens. And the show uses this wonderful mechanic, this kind of gimmick of different characters narrating at different times, which I wondered if it was just going to be in the pilot, but it turns out that is also in the second episode, and I anticipate it will continue.
Sure.
I really liked it, and it's used in a really interesting way at the end of the first episode, and I thought the second episode really took off for me. I'm digging it. I'm liking this world. I'm liking these people, and I'm liking the serialized storytelling that we're getting into of the case, and it really is like good guys versus bad guys, but they have to work together. It's very much that Aceveda, Mackie kind of thing that he used in The Shield. So I'm hoping this reaches those heights. It's not there yet for me.
Interesting, okay.
I will go further and say that ending of the pilot is not interesting, it's amazing. I thought that was one of the great moments in TV. And not just TV, but a lot of people try to get the impact out of a moment like that in all forms of media, and because of that gimmick, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I hope, yeah. I loved, actually prefer the pilot to the second episode. I love this show. I think this is my favorite cop show of all time. Not that I've been the
second
biggest,
episode.
Not that I've been so far. What it is to me, of course we're going to relate it to The Shield, but really what it feels like to me is a much more commercial, palatable The Wire, because what it seems
Feels
like what
very
we're getting
wiry, yeah.
That's
is.
because everybody talks about good police.
Well, no,
He's good police.
Because the difference for me is it doesn't. In 2 episodes we haven't gotten a monster of the week yet. We haven't gotten a case of the week. It really does seem like they're just going to be handling this one deal. And I love that. I love the characters, and the plot in this show. So in the first 2 episodes have been amazing, but that's cake. I mean, really, I'm at the point now where I'll just watch these characters do anything. I love and what's specifically incredible about the show is that every other cop show that exists, The Wire maybe not as much, but pulls off its grits, making it handheld and naturalistic and gritty. This show isn't that way. This show isn't gritty. It's the cinematography, the directing is new. It's got crane moves. I mean, really in the pilot looked way better than the second episode, unfortunately. But it's awesome looking. It's very like untraditional coverage and a lot of camera movement that's slick. But not
TV,
in
doesn't feel TV.
not in a Michael Bay 90s way, slick in a somewhat like refreshing way, and it's not like zooms and handheld, like it's got a new vibe to it, which is incredible to pull. I didn't know that you could pull that off, and you can pull that off and have your like real streets cop stuff happening.
Yeah, I really, really, really liked this show. I was surprised, just sort of had. I enjoyed The Shield, but didn't love The Shield, so I was sort of anticipating having the same sort of connection with this, which is like, I like this. It is entertaining. I do not love this. But I think I kind of love this show, and I'm with you, Dan. I think the pilot was a little bit better executed, in my opinion, than the second episode. I thought the second episode was a little bit less impactful as that first pilot episode. I agree with you, though, that that last scene of the pilot, it earned that. Throughout the whole pilot, it earned that land for me, which I was very excited about. And I did like the fact that it felt frenetic and the pace was there, but yet the camera work wasn't distractingly frenetic, as in some of these other sort of let's play gritty, just the camera shaking, so it must be real kind of moments, you know what I mean? My only one sort of issue with it, I really don't enjoy Jennifer Beals in this. I think she's really the sort of in and out of the Chicago accent. She doesn't need a Chicago accent, you know what I mean? And I don't really buy her when she kind of stands up.
Well, then it would
and
just be called The Code, Alex.
Well, it could be done in Chicago, but she doesn't have to play
Thank God
Chicago.
she's talking in code all the time.
It's akin to a beautiful mind, in my opinion. But no, so that's my only worry, and I have a feeling that she's going to kind of come into her own in this character. I think all of these characters are going to grow, but the place that we're starting from is such an amazing, fun place. I'm a little worried that they're going to veer away from the sort of Wire mentality and get into that sort of Law and Order Monster of the Week thing.
But they didn't with the Shield.
The
Shield didn't do that, and Carriers didn't either, really.
Both of those, though, that's what I think is so special about this, is that those both have, and I've only seen the first season of the Shield, but they both have, and of course of Terriers, but they both are much more serialized than Law and Order. but they did have Monsters of the Week.
Right.
And of course, we've seen 2, and I may be proven wrong
I know.
tonight.
Yeah.
But it seems,
Just to be clear, there's no monsters in either of those shows.
It's TV vernacular for Case of the Week.
Right.
Case of the Week would be very easy for me to say.
I thought the Shield was about.
Just to be clear.
What's the monsters?
I mean,
he kept saying Law and Order was about monsters.
that is a show I'd like to make, is Cops with Monsters. But
Let's
anyway.
do it. They did. It's
Too late.
called
Cops and Monsters.
God, I can't remember, but it literally was on Sci-Fi. I'll tell you.
The only reason that I had a problem with the pilot, I think, is like that first car chase.
I thought that was a really.
It was shot well.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Sorry, yeah.
I think from a believability standpoint, it felt a little TV and heightened rather than the gritty. I believe this could be happening on the streets right now, which is what I think the second episode got to, and is more of my flavor.
From my impressions of Shawn Ryan, that seems a little bit of his thing. He's got that like amped up. It's not like. I mean, I don't know. Shield, Vic Mackey busting through a fence instead of going over it. Like,
it's cool.
I mean, that's kind of, you know.
So clearly,
I love
that happens on the street every day.
I did not. I will say, I did not think I was going to like the lead, Jason Clarke, as much as I like him.
He's got a very specific way about him. Like, it's kind of hard to define how he is. I mean, you like.
And
it is cool that he's the amped up, straight and narrow guy instead of the amped up, like tough. You know.
He was
But
also
he got flaws too
also-
because he's cheating on his fiancée and all that.
He
stuff.
was also in Public Enemies, which we just recently saw. I was on HBO and I was like, oh, that's the guy from the Chicago Code.
It's interesting to have like a proud Pole as your lead. You know, like that's an unusual archetype.
And very, very stylized dialogue. That's a lot of fun. That may maybe the reason why you like The Shield, but it's in here. It's great. I love this
and the
show.
partner. I love the relationship with the partner.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Friday Night Lights guy.
I think I just realized something. I think you would love The Shield if it was shot like this.
Yeah,
maybe.
Absolutely, because that's exactly why I brought this up. Is because The Shield has everyone's theatrical and whatever, but the
Doco style.
Yeah, but it's like put on fake. It doesn't feel Paul Greengrass intrinsic and like.
I feel like that's throwing the baby out with the bathwater a little, but
he hates babies and bathwater.
he does.
I don't know.
Watch the Chicago
That's
Code.
why he's always dirty.
We
and
all loved
fatherless.
All right, people, stick around for this day in rad history. But first, we want to thank our sponsor, and thankfully, our sponsor is actually The Ben Heck Show.
What?
That is sponsored by Element 14. So join modding whiz Ben Heck and his friends as they build and modify a host of amazing community-inspired creations.
Like what?
Well, I just saw the one where he made a handheld version of the Sega CD-X, which is the Sega 3D or the Sega Genesis, Sega CD, Sega 32X, all put together in one handheld device.
Amazing.
It was amazing.
That was why that thing failed, actually, because it wasn't handheld.
Dude, and when you see it on the handheld, you're like, that's actually not a bad handheld device. The Ben Heck Show is brought to you exclusively by Element 14, the online store and community for electronics design engineers. In the latest, he builds a super can cooler, so you can like put a little can in there, and it goes like, and it's cold.
Whoa!
Yeah. That's what happens. Check it out. I think it's
that.
every other Tuesday on Revision 3. Anyway, it's on Revision 3. Head over to revision3.com and check it out. We will see you tomorrow.
Check us out tomorrow when we see what else is on our radar this week.
Today is February 21st, and on this day in rad history, in 1990, France saw the release of La Femme Nikita, otherwise known as Nikita. We've now seen three adaptations of this in the States. We've seen Point of No Return, starring Bridget Fonda, and USA Network's Nikita, and then now we have another Nikita. This basically launched the career of Luc Besson in the stratosphere. It predates his American debut in The Professional, and it really is an incredible movie. Have you seen La Femme Nikita?
Oh yeah.
It is awesome, and if you like any of those other iterations, definitely see La Femme Nikita. It's pretty badass.